There's a specific kind of regret that only homeowners understand. Not the regret of spending too much. The other kind. The regret of spending money on something that looked promising in the store, reasonable on the receipt, and wrong the moment it was installed. The curtain rod that pulled out of the wall. The feature wall that made the room darker. The outdoor furniture that faded in one summer. The upgrade that was supposed to change the feel of the space and instead just change the clutter. Most home improvement spending does not fail because people choose badly. It fails because nobody told them which upgrades actually hold their value, visually, practically, and financially, and which ones look like a good idea right up until the moment they are in the ground. Today on Daily Garden Fix, the DIY home upgrades that you will not regret. Not the ones that look good in the store. The ones that look good 5 years from now. Big impact. Small budget. Zero buyer's remorse. Every single one of these has been chosen because it delivers more than it costs, lasts longer than it should for the price, and makes the space it goes into genuinely better, not just temporarily different. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Daily Garden Fix, the channel that helps you spend less and get more from every corner of your home and outdoor space. Hit that like button right now, because today's list was built specifically around one question. Will you still love this in 5 years? Every upgrade that did not pass that test got cut. What is left is the list that I genuinely wish someone had handed me before I started upgrading anything. Stay to the end, because upgrade number 10 is the one most people save for last and should always do first. It costs almost nothing, and it changes how every other upgrade in the space looks. That is coming up, and you do not want to skip it. Here we go. Upgrade number 1. Replace every interior door handle in the house. Upgrade number 1. And it starts here because this is the upgrade that surprises people most with how much it changes a space they thought they already knew well. Door handles are the jewelry of a home. They're the hardware that every hand touches every day, in every room, without ever consciously registering, until they are replaced with something considered and right, and suddenly the whole interior feels more deliberate and more finished in a way that is impossible to pinpoint but impossible to ignore. Most homes ship with builder-grade lever handles in a brushed chrome or polished silver finish, functional, inoffensive, and completely without character. Replacing them across the entire house with a consistent finish, brushed brass, matte black, antique bronze, or satin nickel, is the single most cohesive interior upgrade available for under $100 total. The key word is consistent. One finish throughout. The moment every door in the house shares the same metal tone, the interior reads as designed rather than furnished. The repetition of one finish from room to room creates a visual thread that ties every space together without a single piece of furniture being moved. Replacement is a screwdriver job. 15 minutes per door. No tools beyond a standard Phillips head. Remove the 2 screws on the interior faceplate. Pull both sides of the handle free. Thread the new spindle through the latch mechanism and reattach. The entire house can be done in a single afternoon. For 2026, brush brass on white or warm neutral walls. Matte black on gray, sage, or deep jewel tone interiors. Both finishes are available at hardware stores for $8 to $15 per handle set. Budget, $60 to $100 for the whole house. The upgrade that makes every room feel more considered without moving a single piece of furniture. Upgrade number 2. Install open shelving in the kitchen. Upgrade number 2. The kitchen upgrade that costs a fraction of new cabinetry, adds genuine storage and display space. It makes the most used room in the house feel larger, lighter, and more personal all at once. Open shelving in the kitchen is not a new idea, but the reason it keeps returning to the top of every home improvement list is that it works in a way that closed cabinetry simply cannot. It forces curation. It puts the things you love on display. And it creates the visual depth and layering that makes a kitchen feel lived in and warm rather than showroom sterile. Install floating shelves using heavy-duty concealed bracket systems rated for kitchen use. The kind where the bracket slides into a routed channel in the back of the shelf and anchors directly to wall studs, leaving the shelf face completely clean with no visible hardware. 2 or 3 shelves staggered at comfortable reaching height on a single kitchen wall. is the right scale for most spaces. Timber shells in a warm stained finish, walnut, oak, or a dark espresso, against a white or light-colored kitchen wall is the combination that photographs most beautifully and ages most gracefully. Solid timber, not veneer. The weight and warmth of real wood is what makes this upgrade feel permanent rather than temporary. Style with intention. The back row, taller items, less frequently used. The middle, everyday items in consistent vessels. The front row, one or two purely decorative objects that give the eye somewhere to rest. Consistency of vessel matters more than the objects themselves. Decant dry goods into matching glass jars. Use one style of mug, one style of bowl. The coherence of the display is the upgrade. Budget, $40 to $90 per shelf, including brackets. The kitchen upgrade that makes every morning feel better. Upgrade number 3. Paint the front door a real color. Upgrade number 3. The upgrade that costs $15 in paint, takes 3 hours on a Saturday morning, and changes what your home looks like from the street more dramatically than any other single thing you could do to the exterior. The front door is the face of the house. It is the first thing visitors see, the last thing they look at when they leave, and the detail that anchors every other element of the exterior: the garden, the path, the windows, the roof line, into a coherent whole. A front door in a flat, uninspired color does not anchor anything. It simply exists. Pick a color that means something. Not safe, not neutral, not the color the door was when you moved in because you never got around to changing it. A color with genuine character and genuine confidence. For 2026, deep forest green for traditional or Georgian architecture. Inky navy for contemporary homes with clean lines. Warm terracotta for rendered or brick exteriors with Mediterranean planting. Gloss black for townhouses and properties where the architecture is already doing the work and the door needs to punctuate rather than perform. Sand the existing door surface lightly to give the new paint something to grip. Apply 1 coat of exterior primer, 2 coats of exterior gloss or satin in your chosen color, sanding lightly between coats. Replace the door furniture, handle, knocker, letterbox, and house number in a consistent metal finish that complements the new color. Brush brass on forest green. Polish chrome on navy. Matte black on terracotta. The street view of your home transforms. Not renovated. Not extended. Just a door. A color. An afternoon. Budget, $15 to $40 for paint and primer. The highest visible impact per dollar on this entire list. Upgrade number 4. Lay peel and stick floor tiles in the bathroom or utility room. Upgrade number 4. The floor transformation that requires no adhesive, no grout, no specialist tools, and no experience. And that makes the room it goes in to look like a completely different space. Peel and stick vinyl floor tiles have evolved dramatically in the past 5 years. The current generation, thick luxury vinyl tiles with a realistic stone, cement, or ceramic surface texture, look nothing like the flimsy, self-adhesive tiles of a decade ago. They are dimensionally stable, moisture-resistant, comfortable underfoot, and available in formats and finishes that pass for genuine ceramic or stone from any normal viewing distance. The installation is genuinely beginner-proof. Clean the existing floor surface thoroughly and ensure it is flat. Fill any dips or gaps with floor leveling compound and allow to dry. Find the center point of the room by snapping chalk lines between the midpoints of opposite walls. Where the lines cross is your starting tile. Work outward from that center point in all 4 directions, peeling the backing from each tile, pressing firmly into place, and rolling with a heavy rolling pin or a short section of pipe to ensure full adhesion. Cut edge tiles with a utility knife and a straight edge. Score firmly and snap cleanly. No wet saw. No tilicute. No grout. For a bathroom, a large format gray or warm white cement look tile. For a utility room, a classic black and white checkerboard in a smaller format that gives the room personality without fighting its function. Both options transform what are typically the most neglected floors in any home in a single afternoon. Budget, $30 to $70 for an average bathroom or utility room floor. No installer. No mess. Nordigret. Upgrade number 5. Build a simple outdoor potting bench. Upgrade number 5. The outdoor upgrade that solves the most common practical problem in any garden. Nowhere to work, and adds a permanent, characterful structure to the outdoor space at the same time. A potting bench is a waist-height outdoor workstation with a lower shelf for storage, a slatted or solid work surface, and hooks or rails above for hanging tools. Built from treated timber, a basic construction from 2x4 framing lumber and rough sawn planks. It goes together in a single morning with a drill, a saw, and a box of galvanized screws. The dimensions that work for most people: 120 centimeters wide, 60 centimeters deep, 90 centimeters high to the work surface. Lower shelf at 30 centimeters from the ground, size to hold bags of compost, pots, and containers without crowding the working space above. Finish the timber with a dark exterior with stain, charcoal, ebony, or dark walnut. One coat is enough on rough sawn timber because the open grain absorbs the stain completely and the finish becomes part of the wood rather than sitting on top of it. The dark tone makes every plant, every terracotta pot, and every green garden element placed on or near the bench red as more vivid and more considered by contrast. Mount 2 or 3 galvanized pipe hooks along the top rail for hanging hand tools. Add a length of thin copper pipe as a towel rail along one side for a gardening cloth or apron. Hang a single outdoor solar lantern from the top corner. The potting bench turns the most functional corner of the garden into the most characterful. And every hour spent at it, potting, propagating, planting out, is an hour spent at a workstation you built yourself. Budget: $50 to $90 in timber and fixings. The outdoor upgrade that earns its place every single season. Upgrade number 6. Reface kitchen cabinet doors with paint and new hardware. Upgrade number 6. The kitchen transformation that designers charge thousands of dollars to deliver. Achieve for under $100 in a weekend of your time. Kitchen cabinet refacing is the practice of transforming the visible surfaces of existing cabinetry without replacing the carcasses. The boxes behind the doors that are almost always structurally sound and perfectly functional long after the door faces look tired and dated. Replacing the doors and drawer fronts alone costs a fraction of new cabinetry and achieves 90% of the visual transformation. But before new doors, paint. A quality cabinet paint in a durable eggshell or satin finish, applied to existing door faces with a small foam roller and a brush for the recessed panels, transforms tired timber or medium-density fiberboard doors with a smooth, hard-wearing surface that looks factory-finished when done correctly. The correct process: clean every door surface with a degreaser. Sand lightly with 220 grit sandpaper to scuff the existing finish. Apply 1 coat of shellac-based primer, 2 coats of cabinet paint, sanding with 400 grit between coats. The result is a surface so smooth and consistent that it reads as sprayed rather than brushed. Pair the new paint color with replacement hardware, handles and knobs, in a consistent finish that complements the tone of the cabinetry. Slim bar handles and brushed brass on sage or navy cabinets. Round knobs and matte black on white or soft gray. Cup pulls and antique bronze on warm cream or off-white. For 2026, two-tone kitchens are the dominant direction. Upper cabinets in a light tone, soft white, warm cream, or pale sage. Lower cabinets in a deeper version of the same hue, forest green, deep teal, or charcoal. The color relationship between upper and lower reads as sophisticated and considered without requiring a single structural change. Budget: $40 to $90 for paint, primer, and hardware for an average kitchen. The upgrade that makes people think you replace the entire kitchen. 6 upgrades in and 6 to go. Every one of them a decision that holds its value. Coming up, upgrade number 9 is the one that costs under $20 and changes the way every room in the house feels after dark. It takes 45 minutes to do the whole house, and most people have never thought of it. Stay with me. Upgrade number 7. Add built-in garden edging. Upgrade number 7. Back outside. And to the upgrade that takes a garden that looks pleasant and turns it into a garden that looks designed. Garden edging is the detail that separates lawn from border, gravel from planting, path from bed, and hard landscaping from soft. Without it, every element in the garden bleeds into every adjacent element over time. Grass creeps into the flower bed, gravel migrates onto the lawn, soil collapses onto the path after rain. With it, every zone in the garden holds its shape indefinitely, and the whole space reads as intentional rather than incidental. Steel edging, thin gauge corten or galvanized steel strip in a continuous roll, is the current benchmark for a clean, permanent, professional-looking garden edge. Unlike plastic edging, which degrades in UV and lifts in frost, and unlike timber edging which rots at the buried face within a few seasons, steel edging is genuinely permanent. It installs by pushing the strip into the ground with a rubber mallet to a consistent depth, the top edge sitting half an inch above the surrounding soil, and joining lengths with clip connectors. The finished edge is a clean, razor-thin line between one surface and another that never migrates, never degrades, and never needs replacing. Corten weathers to a warm rust tone within the first season that reads as warm and organic against green planting. Galvanized steel stays silver gray permanently, cleaner and more contemporary. 4 curved beds. The thin gauge of steel edging bends smoothly around any radius without kinking. 4 straight beds. Pull a string line between 2 stakes and use it as a guide to keep the installation perfectly true. Budget: $30 to $60 for a standard garden perimeter. The structural upgrade that makes every other garden element look more considered. Upgrade number 8. Panel an interior wall with tongue and groove timber. Upgrade number 8. The interior upgrade that adds architectural character, warmth, and texture to any room that currently has nothing of interest on its walls, and that holds its value in a way that wallpaper, decals, and feature paint effects never fully do. Tongue and groove timber paneling, installed horizontally or vertically to cover the lower half of a wall to dado rail height, or floor to ceiling on a single feature wall, is one of the oldest architectural wall treatments in residential design and one of the few that consistently adds perceived value to the rooms it goes into. It signals permanence. It signals craft. And it does something that paint and wallpaper cannot. It adds a third dimension to the wall surface that changes how the room feels to stand in. Install pre-primed MDF tongue and groove boards using construction adhesive and finishing nails. Work from a level horizontal or vertical reference line, the most important step in the entire process. Every board that goes in after the first one aligns from that reference. So if the first board is level, everything above it is level automatically. Paint the finished paneling in the same color as the wall above it for a seamless, architectural look. Or paint it a contrasting shade, the wall above in warm white, the paneling below in a deep sage, navy, or charcoal, for a classic two-tone effect that has been a feature of well-designed interiors for centuries. For 2026, vertical tongue and groove in a floor-to-ceiling application painted in a warm off-white or soft putty tone is appearing in every high-end interior design project. It costs under $80 to DIY a standard bedroom wall. The same look in a contractor-installed specification costs upward of $600. Budget: $50 to $90 per feature wall. The interior upgrade that looks like an architectural feature, not a DIY project. Upgrade number 9. Replace every light switch and outlet cover in the house. Upgrade number 9, and this is the one I promised you. Under $20. 45 minutes. The whole house. And the difference it makes to every room after dark, when the lighting is on and the switch plates are the detail that either disappears into the wall or catches the eye for the wrong reason, is immediate and permanent. Standard builder-grade switch and outlet covers are glossy white plastic. They yellow slightly over time. They chip at the edges. And they're the one piece of hardware in every room that signals, more than any other detail, that the interior has not been considered at the level of the small things. Because small things are exactly where considered interiors differ from unconsidered ones. Replace them with screwless cover plates, the style where the cover snaps magnetically over a base plate and presents a completely flat, seamless face with no visible screws. Available in a range of finishes to match the hardware you have already chosen for handles and fixtures. brushed brass, matte black, brushed nickel, warm white. The replacement process: switch off the circuit at the breaker. Unscrew the existing cover plate. Screw the new base plate in its place. Snap the decorative cover onto the base. Switch the circuit back on. From minutes per outlet or switch. The whole house in under an hour. The moment every switch plate in a room matches the door handle finish and the light fitting finish, the room reads as designed at every scale, from the furniture down to the hardware. That coherence of the small scale is what makes a space feel genuinely finished rather than merely decorated. Budget: $15 to $30 for the whole house. The upgrade that nobody notices consciously and everybody feels immediately. Upgrade number 10. Deep clean and seal your outdoor paving. Upgrade number 10. The one I told you to stay for. The one that costs almost nothing and changes how every other outdoor upgrade in the space looks. Dirty, stained, algae-covered paving makes everything around it look neglected, regardless of how much effort has gone into the planting, the furniture, and the structure surrounding it. A freshly cleaned, sealed paving surface does the opposite. It makes every adjacent element look more considered, more cared for, and more finished. It is the outdoor equivalent of cleaning the windows, a maintenance task that reads as a transformation because the contrast with the before state is so immediate and so complete. Hire a pressure washer for a half day. Most hire centers charge $15 to $25 for a 4-hour booking. Work systematically across the entire paved area in overlapping passes, keeping the lance at a consistent distance and angle to avoid streaking. Pay particular attention to the joints between pavers where algae and moss establish most readily. A narrow-angle lance attachment clears joint growth that a wide fan nozzle misses. Allow the surface to dry for a minimum of 48 hours after pressure washing. Then apply a penetrating concrete or stone sealer with a long-handled roller, the same tool used for applying exterior deck paint. The sealer soaks into the paving surface and cures to an invisible finish that repels water, resists staining from plant matter and organic debris, and significantly reduces algae and moss regrowth. A sealed surface stays cleaner for 2 to 3 years between full washes. Rainwater beads and runs off the sealed face rather than soaking in and carrying surface dirt into the pores of the stone. Budget: $20 to $35 for sealer plus higher cost of pressure washer. The outdoor upgrade that makes everything else look better without touching anything else. Upgrade number 11. Install a garden gate with character. Upgrade number 11. The outdoor upgrade that most homeowners never think to change, and that delivers more street presence per dollar spent than almost any other exterior improvement. The garden gate is the punctuation mark at the boundary between the public street and the private garden. A tired, weathered, or simply bland gate communicates, before anyone steps through it, that the space beyond has not been thought about. A gate with genuine character communicates exactly the opposite. It is an invitation, a statement, the first moment of the garden's personality made visible to everyone who passes. A timber gate built from hardwood boards with a simple legend brace construction, 3 horizontal rails and 2 diagonal braces supporting vertical faceboards, is within reach of any confident DIYer with a saw, a drill, and a weekend morning. Hang it on heavy-duty galvanized strap hinges bolted through the existing post or a new treated timber post set in concrete. Fit a quality thumb latch and a matching metal finish to the rest of your exterior hardware. Stain the finished gate in a tone that either matches the front door, creating a coordinated exterior color story from boundary to entrance, or contrasts it deliberately. A charcoal gate against a terracotta door. A forest green gate against a navy door. The contrast reads as intentional and considered rather than mismatched. For a fully no-build alternative, a wrought iron or powder-coated steel gate purchase from salvage yard or an online architectural salvage supplier gives immediate character with no construction required. Salvage gates frequently cost less than new timber materials and come with decades of patina already built in. Budget: $40 to $100. The boundary upgrade that changes what people think of your home before they reach the door. Upgrade number 12. Repoint brickwork and render cracks. Upgrade number 12. The one that most people walk past every day without registering consciously, and that experienced eyes notice immediately as the detail that separates a well-maintained home from one that is quietly declining. Mortar joints between brickwork erode over time. Weather, freeze-thaw cycles, and the slow carbonation of the lime in the original mix all contribute to a gradual recession of the joint face below the brick surface. When the joint recession reaches more than 5 millimeters, water begins to track into the wall behind the brick face rather than running off the surface. That water causes damp, frost damage, and in severe cases, structural movement. Repointing, raking out the old mortar to a depth of 15 millimeters and replacing it with fresh mix, is the maintenance task that stops all of that before it starts. For a beginner, focus on the most visible areas first. The front face of the house, the garden wall, the boundary. Use a cold chisel and club hammer to rake out loose or recessed mortar. Mix a ready-to-use repointing mortar to a stiff consistency. Work it into the joint with a pointing trowel or a specialized pointing gun, pushing firmly to eliminate air pockets. Finish the joint face with a slightly recessed profile, a small concave indentation that sheds water outward rather than trapping at the face. Render cracks on render exterior walls, even hairline cracks, should be filled with an exterior flexible filler, sanded flush, and repainted before they allow water ingress. The material cost is almost zero. The value of the protection is significant. Budget, $20 to $50 in materials. The maintenance upgrade that protects everything that all the other upgrades are improving. 3 bonus principles that make every upgrade on this list hold its value longer. Bonus tip 1. Always finish in threes. The human eye finds 3 repeated elements satisfying in a way that 2 feels incomplete and 4 feels crowded. 3 shelves. 3 plants in 3 matching pots. 3 hooks on the potting bench rail. 3 pendant lights above the kitchen island. Before you finalize any upgrade, count the repeated elements and adjust to 3 wherever possible. It costs nothing, and it is the single most reliable design shortcut available. Bonus tip 2. Buy less and buy better. The upgrade that fails is almost always the one where the budget was stretched across too many elements rather than concentrated in the 1 or 2 that matter most. A single quality light fitting does more for a room than 4 cheap ones. A single large piece of quality garden furniture does more for an outdoor space than a matching set from a discount catalog. When the budget is limited, and it always is, narrow the scope and raise the quality of what remains. You will not regret it. Bonus tip 3. Do the prep and skip nothing. Every upgrade on this list has a preparation step that determines whether the finished result looks professional or looks homemade in the wrong sense. Sand before painting. Prime before top coating. Level before laying. Clean before sealing. The preparation is invisible in the finished result, which is exactly the point. Visible preparation means it was done wrong. Invisible preparation means the finish is as good as it looks and will stay that way. 12 DIY home upgrades that you will not regret. Door handles replaced in a single consistent finish that ties every room together. Open kitchen shelving that displays the things worth displaying. A front door in a real color that changes what the house says from a street. Peel and stick floor tiles that transform the most neglected floors in the house in an afternoon. A potting bench that makes the garden's most functional corner its most characterful. Kitchen cabinet doors refaced with paint and hardware that looks like a full kitchen renovation at a fraction of the cost. Steel garden edging that holds every zone permanently in place. Tongue and groove wall paneling that adds genuine architectural character. Switch plates and outlet covers replaced in matching finishes that complete the hardware story in every room. Outdoor paving pressure washed and sealed so that every other outdoor element looks better by association. A garden gate that announces the space behind it before anyone steps through. And repointed brickwork that protects everything else from the water that would otherwise quietly undo it. Here is the honest truth about home improvement that most content in this space does not say clearly enough. The upgrades that you will not regret are almost never the most dramatic ones. They're the ones that solve a real problem, use a durable material, and improve the space they go into without requiring you to change anything else around them to make them work. They're the quiet upgrades, the considered ones, the ones that compound over time rather than dating quickly. Every upgrade on today's list was chosen on that basis, not for the before and after photograph, for the 5 years from now photograph, when the gate has developed its patina, the shelving has been styled and restyled a dozen times, the paneling has been repainted once in a slightly different tone, and every door handle in the house still matches because good decisions age gracefully. Drop a comment right now and tell me which upgrade you're doing first. Or tell me the upgrade you already did that you regret and what you would do instead. I read every comment and I respond to everyone. If you are new to Daily Garden Fix, welcome. Subscribe and hit the bell because new videos come out every single week, and every one of them is built around the same question. What actually works, what actually lasts, and what is genuinely worth your Saturday? Share this with one person who is about to spend money on something they might regret. It might save them a decision they cannot easily undo. I will see you in the next one. Upgrade something. Make it last. Take care. Bye.